What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Saviors. I'm going to be talking about the Game 3 of the Jazz and Rockets series. It just ended about an hour ago. I've been thinking about it for about an hour, took a couple notes, and we're going to go over them right here. And just so you guys know, I'm a Jazz fan, just so that I can put things into a little bit of perspective. So to start off with, the way we guarded Harden all series with Rubio, they've kind of been putting him off to the left side of him to avoid him going to his left hand side, which is obviously the way he prefers, which allows him to drive the ball into the paint. But I think that this creates a series of problems because if he's driving into the paint, it pulls Rudy Gobert forward because Rudy has to respect Harden's little jump floater shot he likes to take, which he makes at a very high percentage. But at the same time, if Rudy's stepping forward, it's allowing Clint Capella to be wide open behind the hoop, which allows Harden to do that little alley-oop thing to him, and he dunks the ball every time. And we have not had a defensive adjustment for this. I don't know why. We just haven't. And also the other problem is, say Rudy comes out and he's able to shut down Harden, that is drawing a lot of bodies into the paint, which is inevitably going to leave a person open to shoot a three like PJ Tucker or Eric Gordon, and those two have killed us all series. They've made so many threes and it has hurt us constantly. Another thing with Harden is that little step back thing he likes to do. He pushes off a lot of the time and the refs aren't going to call it. So if the refs aren't going to call something, we need to adjust to it, because if they're not calling it in game 1 or game 2 or all season, they're definitely not going to call it in game 3 of the playoffs, okay? So if he's going to push off, Harden's main intentions are obviously he's pushing off, allowing space between himself and the defender, which then, as a defender, your first instinct to do is to jump forward back at Harden. Well, Harden knows this, and he's pushing off Ricky Rubio, for example. He pushes off Ricky, creating space. Harden shoots the shot, but at the same time, if you watch Harden do this, he does it every time. He jumps forward because Rubio's momentum is going towards Harden, and by rule, you have to allow the shooter to land on their feet. And Harden knows this. And then he flops because he acts like he lands on top of Rubio. And sometimes he does, sometimes he really does, and then he truly does fall down. But a lot of the time he flops, and he gets away with it, and the refs call it, and that's why he's such a sneaky good player, and he's really good at what he does. In Game 3, Harden didn't even make a field goal until the fourth quarter, and the Jazz still lose. Now that's what I was thinking all game, the entire game. Like, how are we only maintaining or gaining a 1-point lead or 4-point lead with Harden not even scoring a field goal? You know, like, we need more people to step up. Okay, so what killed us, I thought, was our fourth quarter pace on the offensive end of the ball. All season, the Jazz do this consistently when it's a close game and people need to come up clutch in the end. The pace slows down a lot. Now, a couple years ago, when we had Hayward, last year of having Hayward, we were known for having a very slow offensive pace. I think we had the slowest pace in the entire league on the offensive side of the ball. Well, since we've gotten rid of Hayward and have gained Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio, our pace on the offensive side of the ball has gone up. Well, when we change our game in the fourth quarter so consistently, when games are on the line, your season is generally on the line, it screws with things, right? It seemed like Donovan had the ball in his hands until there was like 10 seconds left on the clock, and he just dribbled the ball at the top of the 3-point line. And we didn't get a shot off until there was like 10 seconds left. And then we would sometimes have to scramble and get a pretty garbage shot off at the last second, which killed us because we really needed points. At the end of the game, Donovan Mitchell had a really, really good look. He couldn't have had a better look at the hoop. He just missed the shot, unfortunately. I think that, honestly, he was probably too wide open. Like, that was probably a big problem. He was too wide open. I know that's weird to say. Also, what killed us was our inability to capitalize on Harden's off night, like I got into before. He didn't score a field goal until the fourth quarter. We couldn't capitalize on that. And then you look at the free throws. The Jazz shot 25 for 38, and the Rockets shot 23 for 34, and with Harden shooting 14 of 16. Now, it's not like the Jazz weren't getting free throws. It's not like the Rockets were out shooting us in free throws. That's just, I don't know how we didn't win. I truly don't. I mean, we missed 13 free throws. That killed us, obviously. Say we make 7 of those at a minimum, we're looking at a completely different ball game. And then just our lack of big shots in the fourth quarter. We maintained that 1 to 4 point lead throughout the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, and then we just went ice cold in the fourth. Moving on to the officiating, we can cry about the refs all we want. It's not going to change anything at all. Calls went both ways all night. I'm not dumb. I realize that calls went both ways. Jazz took some pretty crappy calls. Rockets took some pretty crappy calls. I just want to talk about one call, and that's all. That call towards the end of the game on Rudy Gobert, where he blocked Harden, and then Harden went to the ground. It looked like Harden kind of flopped. Rudy did make contact with him, kind of, but I just don't see that as a foul, and that was a huge call with the amount of time left on the clock. Now I know we did go down to the end of the Jazz had the ball on the offense, and Donovan, I think it was Tucker. It was either Tucker or Gordon. I don't know. It was a bad call, so the refs kind of did even it up, but it still did kind of hurt us a lot, given the amount of time left on the clock. So in conclusion, all we can really do is just try to clear our minds, prepare for Game 4 like we usually do, and try to force a Game 5 back in Houston. We just got to take it a game at a time, maybe try to make some defensive changes. We truly have nothing to lose at this point. We should be playing desperate basketball, a very desperate form of ball. Donovan can't be the only one to show up. We have to get more offensive production out of Gobert, Rubio, Favors. Really, everybody needs to just step it up. Gobert needs to go up to the rim with more power when he catches the ball in the paint. Rudy can't really post up super well, and it's an aspect of his game he needs to work on. He should desperately work on this in his offseason. He would become a much better player if we could consistently count on him to post up. We had our chance to get back in the series tonight, but we ultimately really blew it in the fourth quarter and free throw line all night. Donovan is generally a very consistent player, but he doesn't score 33 points a night. I know for a fact that even when he does score 33 points a night, it's not going to be enough to win ball games. Donovan can't do it all by himself. Other players just simply have to step it up. I hope you guys had a nice day. I hope your day was better than mine. Go Jazz.